Hey, what's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing. I'm back at it with another boxing video. So, Frank Martin, Shakur Stevenson for the vacant WBC strap. It's gonna be in October, maybe November. I forget which dates. But the two venues they looking at either Las Vegas or New York. Um, Now, this is a damn good fight, Very good fight. The man, Shakur Stevenson, couldn't get Vasyl Lomachenko in the ring. He couldn't get Devin Haney in the ring. Now, all of a sudden, Shakur Stevenson is public enemy number one. They call him a clout chaser. Like, this ain't the boxing game, the fight game. He's a clout chaser because he wants to become a world champion in his third weight class. You see the logic of some fanboys out here? Shakur Stevenson is probably the most active fighter as far as calling out the best of the best in this boxing game. I'd probably say him and Bud Crawford. Man, no question about it. Him and Bud Crawford, the best of the best. Errol Spence ain't call out nobody. Only time Errol Spence even mentioned fellas like Bud Crawford was after Ugas. And guess what? You know what it is. Did he have a choice? Did he really have a choice? So, Shakur Stevenson is going to get an opportunity to become a world champion in his third different weight class. Like I said, he can't get the best of the best to get in the ring. I know this guy, Frank Martin, last I checked, he wasn't even, what you call it? Uh, he wasn't the number one or number two contender. I think he was ranked number five. I'm trying to remember. I might have to look it up right quick. I have to look it up. Give me one sec. I look at the WBC rankings. Yeah, so it's Lomachenko number one. Then we have Shakur Stevenson number two. We got number three Isaac Cruz and number four. And this is WBC rankings, top 15 at 135 lightweight. Number four is Frank Martin. Number five, William Zepeda. Okay, William Zepeda doesn't want to fight. He ain't want to fight the man Shakur Stevenson. Neither did Isaac Cruz. Neither did Vasyl Lomachenko. Big ups to Frank Martin, 17-0, 12 KOs. He's going to get an opportunity to become a world champion. You know, he's going to step in there. Two brothers, two African American brothers from the United States. They not ducking and dodging nobody. You know what I mean? And God give it up to both of them. Unlike Vasyl Lomachenko, Isaac Cruz, and William Zepeda. It is what it is, but this ain't nothing new in boxing. You know how it go. This been going on since boxing, the inception of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I gotta give it up to both of these fighters, and especially Frank Martin. Now, Frank Martin is a guy, man, I don't know if really Frank Martin has real genuine fans. I'm not saying he really doesn't, but maybe his immediate family, maybe people from his city. I don't know if he's from Detroit or Indianapolis, one of the two. I know he's a Midwest brother, you know what I mean? You check it. Frank Martin, is affiliation with Errol Spence is how people are really supporting him, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for Errol Spence, he would just be another fighter, and he might have not even gotten this opportunity, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Frank Martin, people they setting him up for failure. Frank Martin's a good fighter, you know what I mean? But really and truly, they putting a lot of pressure. The Errol Spence fans, the Bud Crawford haters, they putting a lot, and Shakur Stevenson haters alike. They putting a lot of pressure on the man Frank Martin. You know what it is. They want this man Frank Martin to avenge the humiliation and total destruction that Bud Crawford laid upon a can of whoop ass on the man Errol Spence. So now they putting it on the shoulders, on the back of the man Frank Martin to avenge that loss. Yeah. And it's not a coincidence that an Errol Spence fan, right? And this doesn't go for everybody. Definitely not. This doesn't apply for everybody. Sometimes in real life, perception doesn't always equate to the conversations that go on the internet whatever it may be, whether it's politics, whether it's gender wars on the internet, whether it's this boxing shit. You know what I mean? But more times than not, an Errol Spence fan is gonna be a Frank Martin supporter. And guess what? Shakur Stevenson these days is public enemy number one because, like I told y'all before, Bill Haney, Devin Haney's pops, and I like Devin Haney. Don't get it twisted. I'm a fan of Devin Haney. I just ain't like them 2 rounds how Lomachenko battered him around the ring. That shit right there blew the shit out of me. That right there shouldn't. That's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, Bill Haney makes his rounds on this YouTube shit, goes on people's personal YouTube channels, okay, boxing YouTube channels. And guess what? People want to maintain them links, you know what I mean? Just like they did with Wilder, just like they've done with many of fighters. Some are still around, some have gone. And guess what? People want to more affiliate with Bill Haney because he's making these rounds. So all of a sudden, Shakur Stevenson is public enemy number one only solely because he wants to fight the man, Devin Haney. Now, one thing I say, both of these brothers, I don't like that back and forth Twitter stuff they was doing on the internet about a week ago, calling each other all kind of disrespectful names. The type of names, man, you call somebody like that in public, Slim might pull out the burner and lay your ass right there where you stand. You know what I'm saying? Or a fist fight is definitely going to occur. You know what I mean? These guys are fighters. They know what time it is. You know, they fight for money. But even going as far as even a Shakur Stevenson disrespecting Devin Haney's pops, you know what I mean? Calling him words I wouldn't even want to repeat. And also Devin Haney, he's not innocent neither. That's not cool. I think I mentioned that before, you know, especially for Devin Haney, who's supposed to be a devout Muslim, you know what I mean? That's not carrying yourself like a devout Muslim, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Shakur Stevenson is going to get Frank Martin in the ring. And look, man, Frank Martin, man, I'm not saying he ain't got a chance to beat this kid, man, but good luck. You know what I'm saying? I'll just put it like this. Frank Martin will not be avenging the loss of Errol Spence. It's just the truth about it. And I can guarantee you, come fight night, more times than not, Shakur Stevenson probably gonna be a 4-5, 4-1, maybe 5-1. I'm sorry, Frank Martin gonna be a 4-1 or 5-1 underdog. You know what I mean? It's because skills pay the bills. You guys seen Frank Martin's last fight against that guy they call German guy Artem Haranutian or Hatatutian or something like that. This guy didn't even have 13 or 14 fights under his belt. And really and truly, man, Frank Martin looked like ass in that fight. Really and truly, if that dude didn't take a knee, how many knees did he take? Was it one or maybe two in the 12th round? If he ain't take a knee in the 12th round, dogs, he would have won that fight on my card. You know what I'm saying? He would have won that fight. You know what I mean? Or at worst, a draw for Frank Martin. And that wouldn't be a good look, you know what I'm saying? Because, look, you ain't going to always shine, right? But he wasn't looking good for the first half of that fight. And that's a guy who doesn't have much professional experience and is at least also might be in his mid 30s, at least 33 to 35. Shakur Stevenson's a different animal, man. You know, silver medalist, man. This guy's amateur pedigree, like I told y'all before. I ain't never seen Shakur Stevenson lose no rounds in professional boxing. And I've watched each and every single fight of his as a pro because I was watching him from the amateurs. You know what I mean? I covered his fights here on YouTube. Check out my playlist. 2016 Rio, Brazil Olympics. I was there. He wasn't. Yeah, I mean, so it is what it is, man. Frank Martin, man. I hope you don't get on this internet shit and let these people gas you up, thinking that you got something to prove for your big homie, Errol Spence. You know what I mean? Everybody got their own battle to fight. Frank Martin could possibly become bigger than a guy like Errol Spence if he beats a man like Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? So the man can't just be pigeonholed to be a guy to try and avenge a loss for Errol Spence and being Errol Spence's little brother, man. Hey, the sky's the limit for him. Shakur Stevenson, though, is not the guy that that you want to try to reach for the sky with while he's in front of you. Now, I mean, it's going to be a tall task in front of you. And, anything can happen. This is a boxing game, man. You know what I mean? But this fight has nothing to do with Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. It's a very good fight on paper, considering the guys that I mentioned who have ducked. And that's here goes another who have ducked Shakur Stevenson. Let me seal that off before I go on to my next point. Let me give you another thing, man, before I sign off. Frank Martin is going to be a sacrificial lamb. B Marsh Boxing said it. He's going to be a PBC sacrificial lamb. Yes, indeedy. Yeah. I said it because you know why? PBC ain't let fellas like Errol Spence go and become undisputed with Bud Crawford on ESPN, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't be sending their best of the best. Shit, even while they ain't never go to the zone for that 100 million so-called money that he was being given. You know what I'm saying? Even though the John Skipper, the head of the zone, said they blew that. They botched that deal up pretty bad, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, PBC ain't sending the best of the best. They're not going to send Tank Davis to ESPN to fight Shakur Stevenson. They're not going to do that. That's a massive fight, though. They could do a joint pay-per-view. Who did a joint pay-per-view? Did we see one recently? I guess Wilder and what you call it? And Tyson Fury, right? ESPN, Showtime, PBC thing. He's going to be a sacrificial lamb, you know, just like Sean Porter was for Bud Crawford. Just like a lot of those guys, the Felix Diaz, the John Molinas, all those guys that were feeding at welterweight Bud Crawford because they didn't want to send no Keith Thurman or any of those guys. They only sent Sean Porter there after he had no strap because he had lost his belt in the unification versus Errol Spence. You know, you know what I'm saying? Look, man, I like Cool Boy Steph, man, but Cool Boy Steph was a sacrificial lamb too, you know what I mean? I'm a fan of Cool Boy Steph, and I believe out of any boxers in the boxing game who have lost, right, at their current weight class, I believe Cool Boy Steph more than probably anybody can go to a next weight class. This time it'll be featherweight, and he'll become a world champion and unified too. I like the kid. I believe in the kid. I've watched him many of times. I've seen him fight live. But I got concerns when I saw that Brandon Figueroa fight versus Cool Boy Steph. You know what I mean? And he was a sacrificial lamb. The PBC fighter got sent over there. The ESPN fight the monster. Now we ain't knew it. You seen what happened. Frank Martin, man, is going to be in the same situation. Sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? You check it. Just like all those guys I mentioned. Sean Porter's, the John Molinas, all these guys. You know what I mean? They never send the best of the best. And of course, this is a business, you know what I mean? You're not going to send your best of the best. But why are they going to send Frank Martin? But Frank Martin wants this world title opportunity. And this is like what I always said. I don't care which network boxing is on. Whether it's on the Disney Channel, PBC on Fox, CBS Good Morning America, C-SPAN, CNN, the Food Network, the Home Improvement Network, QVTC, don't matter to me which channel boxing is on. I'm going to watch it as long as it's on my television screen. So at the end of the day, Frank Martin got a tall task ahead of him. He better get prepared. You know, uh, who's his trainer? Derek James and Shakur Stevenson. I believe his trainers might be, who is it? Is it Breadman? Is it Breadman, if I'm not mistaken? Or is it Shakur Stevenson grandpops? Can't quite remember. But at the end of the day, I believe Shakur Stevenson going to be a champion in his third different weight class. And hopefully he can get the best of the best to fight him in the ring. B Marsh Boxing, your thoughts and comments? We have a couple people in the chat, actually. Okay, Theodus Ratley. What's up, Theodus? He says, Frank didn't look great last fight, but he's solid as F, and he's going to give Cora a fight, in my opinion. Yeah, he might win a round or two or three. He might. Like I said, I haven't seen Shakur Stevenson lose a round in the professional boxing game. Really and truly. You're going to have to show me. His first world title was at 126. I believe he fought that guy who gets numerous world title opportunities. Joed somebody, a Hispanic Mexican American guy, and Shakur Stevenson used to date his sister. Yeah, he's no longer with that girl because Shakur Stevenson with the black chick now. You know what I mean? But that guy Joed Gonzalez or something, yeah, I might have to remind me. He's getting a world title opportunity in his next fight. He's a guy, man. He's a lucky guy. You know, we'll see. We'll see if maybe the third or fourth time will be the charm. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's when Shakur got his first strap at featherweight, WBO 126. He came up in weight, chasing Oscar Valdez. Oh, trying to unify with Oscar Valdez. No, actually, Oscar Valdez vacated that strap to go to 130. Shakur Stevenson came up to 130, beat Jamal Herring for a 130-pound strap. He ain't lose no rounds in that fight. Got himself a WBO strap. Then he unified with the WBC Oscar Valdez. He ain't lose no rounds in that fight. I mean, so he's a two-time champion in two different weight classes, and he's trying to go for a third. And it's going to be interesting, Like the gentleman Theodis in the chat said, Frank Martin's a good fighter, but to me, he looked bad in that last fight. And the best name he has on his resume is Michael Rivera. And that guy's only popular because of his trunks that say Ali, and he kind of resembles a young Cassius Clay. That about it. Otherwise, that guy hasn't fought since that beating he took from Frank Martin. I like Frank Martin's fight that he fought against the Martinez guy. I'm said Martinez, excuse me, Jackson Martinez. And he stopped that guy late, you know what I mean? And that was a nice little W for him. So I would say those are the two best names on his resume. I don't have to say who the best names on Shakur's resume is. And at the end of the day, the resume ain't going to fight for you. Ask Errol Spence fans that. Yeah, Errol Spence fans thought that Spence resume was going to throw punches and put hands on the man Bud Crawford. It was actually the other way around. That's neither here nor there, though. Be March Boxing. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Hit the thumbs up on your way in, on your way out, and I'm out of here. Gone. Peace.